Okay, how's everybody doing? It's been a while since I've made a video. But this is the car of the month finished vehicle for Gaslands UK uh, May. Yeah, May. And I wanted to show it off. The theme was May Day. So that should have reminded me that it was May. But this is a diorama because you already see the T-Rex is knocked over a paint pot. But this is what I built, and so yeah, this is the first time in a long time they've had dioramas as part of the build, and normally it's just a vehicle. So I went to town. I made this. This is basically just cardboard and a heck of a ton of Elmer's glue. This is actually the second bottle. um, I should have remembered to use a hot glue gun instead of all this Elmer's glue, because it actually ended up being a really big mess to get this done. And I'll show you in a bit. But I wanted to go through how it looks when I get it set up. So, with it being May Day, I wanted to build a Rutherford bus and have it being chased by a giant mutated T-Rex of the wasteland. And in Gaslands, dinosaurs are real again. So, well, they've always been real, but they're alive again. So, for a big game hunter. So I decided that we'd have a Rutherford vehicle that would be stealing dino eggs and is now paying the price for it. And they're in trouble being chased by this cybernetic T-Rex. And they're, fighting back. And you can see here that the T-Rex has already taken a chunk out of the tail of the bus. And we got down here we got the nest with the eggs, broken motorcycle. And all these are 3D printed parts that didn't quite print well. So with them having holes in them or not being perfection, they look good for destroyed material. So you can see this Gatling gun didn't form all the way. So, you can say the barrels blew off or was bitten off. And exhaust pipes, warm things that a dinosaur would probably want to put around the eggs. And the eggs are just green stuff. And painted them up. And I had this desert scenic kit to put all this together. And so, yeah, we've got railroad track. We've got this poor fella here who was, he's not having a nice day. You can see his eyes are focused on the much bigger problem facing him. The T-Rex was basically a Dollar Tree T-Rex, final faction parts, and then I believe it was Finn's custom die casts, flamethrowers. And the wiring was just floral wire, and I've been cannibalizing this engine off of a 1/48 scale dragster for wires and gizmos and thingamajiggers. And then there's some Lego pieces here, like on the shoulder, to give the wiring a place to go into. But then the base is a one of the cars off of a destroyed Hot Wheels monster truck. And so, yeah, pretty simple overall build. Got a 40K chainsaw. I couldn't write Husqvarna on it, so it's Husky but I think it kind of gets the idea. But it's just basically a trash bash to make a cyborg T-Rex with these power claws. And the flamethrower. It's got a wrist-mounted flamethrower. It's got a tail-mounted flamethrower. So it's got all these body part modifications. I was originally going to paint it up like a Borg, but I was like, nah, I didn't really. The original idea didn't really look as good as I had hoped it would, so I ended up redoing it. It's got a cybernetic eye, and I'm hoping to get this thing to focus so you can see the red eye compared to the natural green eye. But yeah, it's got a bit of a comical big knife on its head, but it's Gaslands, and dark comedy is kind of the name of the game to some degree. But the bus, you can see you got the chef here for cooking up the dino eggs. He's defending the bus with his trusty fry pan and hatchet. I'm not quite sure what that would do against a cyborg T-Rex, but, you know. You got the 125 cannon, and I had it welded so it looks like it's stuck to the front, so it can't turn and fire on the T-Rex. So you've got the crew using the crew guns. You can see the lady and the guy in here, they're having an argument. It's kind of hard to see. When I was taking the photos, I was really upset I couldn't get them. It's so hard to kind of see, but I guess in a way you'll have to just trust me that they're in there and they're not having a good day either. And this comes off, so you know you can see that it can still be used on the regular game. But you got this guy here with a Molotov. He's holding on to the hatch as they're going over the railroad track, and then you got this fat guy with a shotgun. And you can see 24 dozen in the back here. Come around here and, oops, we'll go ahead and just take him off. And you can barely make out where I wrote eggs on the crate in there. Again, I was a little upset when I was trying. You're only allowed a certain number of photos on a white background. And I had a really hard time deciding what photos I wanted to use, and also how to get the best photos available. And it burned my biscuits a bit that I couldn't get where you could see that there is a guy with my long hair is getting in the way. I'm shedding, but there's a guy in there with a shotgun, and it frustrates me in a way that I can't get a good, clear view of the guy and the shotgun in here. But he's in there too, and he's got a guy here with a golden gun. Desert Eagle trying to encourage the T-Rex to leave him alone, but really like this poor fella here. He's a mix of a World War I British soldier and a little bit of green stuff. But yeah, he's trying to get to the ladder to kind of not become a T-Rex snack. But so yeah, this is the base itself. You can kind of see here where the glue, using just Elmer's glue, it kind of pulled out instead of being able to build up. And I think if I had used hot glue, I could have built it up on a more gradual slope, which would have been a little more realistic. But, you know, in the way it works. So, yeah, I still think it turned out marvelous. It's one of those things that I could probably put other vehicles on it and use it as a base to show off. And so that's that. And then I did a couple more Rutherford builds because I was in the mood. And so this is my patriotic team. These are the Stars and Stripes Hot Wheels set, and I left the the main body of these cars alone. I didn't want to mess up the paint job on them because they already had a good paint job to begin with. But what we did is we worked on the interiors, weaponized them, you know, new 3D printed tires from my 3D printer, and these tires came off of from Halen's terrain. Matter of fact, because I got second place with the Japanese carrier vehicle, the Halen terrain, all this armor plating is Halen terrain. So, you know, I'm not being paid to say that. And the jets are, of course, 3D printed, but for me, but yeah, got a ton of tires, armor plates, and stuff from them, and putting them to good use. But anyway, don't really have names for them yet. Yeah, this one I've been thinking about calling the 76er, you know, but I because, you know, 1776, that's where that number comes from. But I don't know what to call the Duster or the truck yet. But yeah, Harpoon 5d6, machine gun 2d6, so it's a 7d6. Plus a crew member with a submachine gun, so that's a lot of dice to try and get the Rutherford vote condition going. And so yeah, I like this. We got a guy hanging the pistol out the window, jacked up Ford truck, big blower, Ram. So Rutherford's not really a ramming team, but I was looking at how to make a good, scary, cheap truck that took advantage of Rutherford's abilities as a sponsor, and yeah, I came up with this one, and I think it looks good because, you know, machine gun and a harpoon, they're both 2 points, and Ram's 4. That's hey, brain, come back to me. 8 cans, and then on a 15 can chassis, so it's 23, and so submachine guns 5, so that's 28, and you got 2 points for perks. So that's 30 cans, and that's not bad for a single vehicle to have enough firepower to do stuff. And so I think it's a good build. But yeah, so these two 3D printed rockets on the Pontiac GTO, and this one is just armed with the rockets off of the Implements of Carnage set. And for Rutherford, that's pretty much all you need is rockets and a shotgun, and you've pretty much got a good build there. And then I got a performance car with rockets. And when it comes to Rutherford, if you're going to take a performance car, rockets are pretty much the only good weapon for them. So this is a McLaren. Again, Rutherford's the richest team in the game, so it makes sense to give them Mercedes and high-dollar cars that other teams wouldn't have. And so this is a post-apocalyptic McLaren, Mercedes McLaren, I should say. Yeah, SLR. Yeah. So yeah, it's got rockets and shiny white. I did use that fairy dust paint from the last episode on this with a white base. So I think it looks alright. A little bit of purple highlights just to make it add a little more color to it. And of course, we got the driver. I see the driver. She's got a blue mohawk and a shotgun. He's lining up to shoot out the window. Then we got, this is my favorite kind of build for Rutherford. I have this exact same build in these two yellow taxis, but the last time I broke them out, people had trouble telling the taxis apart because they were the same casting taxis. And they were same Gatling guns. So I made these Novas. Again, I left the paint job that came with them. And but I'll be putting the taxis on Etsy sometime this week, as these are to replace them. But very simple. Got a guy in here. Got a guy hanging out with an axe and pistol. It's like a cyborg cowboy guy. But implements of carnage again for the gas pipes, and then again the gas pipes. God, exhaust pipes. Ugh, you're getting tongue tied all the time today. But yeah, Halen terrain tires, and got another sticker. I'm not too happy with the stickers because you can kind of see the edge around them. They're not decals, so they're not really made for Hot Wheels cars, but from a distance, you know, they look good. It's really only when you get like right up here that they don't look as good, but it makes it a little more different from the base casting. But yeah, got the red camo and the green camo Novas, so they're a little easier to tell apart. But twin miniguns, you know, it's a really good build setup for Rutherford. If you're playing Rutherford, simple car, 2 miniguns, that's 22 cans. So if you're playing a 50 can game, 2 of those cars plus perks, you're good to go. I mean, that's 8d6 behind somebody, and you could easily say 8d6 hitting on 3s to get 6 hits for your audience vote. So yeah, that's one thing you really should look into if you want to play Rutherford. But these are 2 other builds that I like. This is Cyclone Jack, and I don't have a name for this one yet. This is the Torino, but Torino and Mercury Cyclone. But I like Cyclone Jack. He turned out really good. You got a guy in yellow suit and driving, and you got a guy in the pink suit sitting in here. It kind of looks like Pagan Men from Far Cry 4. In my opinion, it looks like Pagan Men. But twin mortars. It does 8d6 indirect. So if someone's behind a wall, like if you want to shoot, you know, your car's here, this Elmer's glue is a wall, and they're here, you can still shoot them. So that's why I run this as mortars. The mortars have ammo though, so where the miniguns are going to be shooting at every point in the game, you're only going to get 4 turns with the mortars unless you reload. But it's cheaper than the miniguns, so you can get a little more perks. And I think that's you can make that work too. This is a good alternative to the twin minigun setup. Then this is another version where you got the minigun and then a heavy machine gun. But for the Torino, it's painted in night scale, army painter, and I wasn't too thrilled with that paint. I don't know if it's just me or what, but this paint would not stick to my primer for nothing. It would just wipe right off, and even after drying it, I mean, it was a real pain to work with. I'm gonna have to get some matte varnish and armor it up with that, because it came off. Still probably comes off real easy if I rub it too hard. But still a good, gorgeous car. I like how it turned out. And so we got that. And then finally, before I let you go, after I got the Rutherford Desert Dog from JH Miniatures, I wanted to make a companion to that vehicle, and I wanted to make a vehicle that could stand beside it in quality, and so I made this one. This is, again, it's the same build as this car, really. Minigun, machine gun combo. But this one is the new Ford that came out on Hot Wheels, 4040. It's in a blue package. It's with like a Warner Brothers set. It's got Bugs Bunny on it, and but anyway, it doesn't have Bugs Bunny on it now. But yeah, 3D printed RAM. You can see where I broke the RAM trying to fit it in, so I just rusted it up and messed it up a little bit. Don't really run it as having a RAM, but I just put it on there because it looks cool. And lifted it, got a lifted chassis, made a drive shaft out of plastic tube. Not a plastic tube, it was a piece of sprue. If you hear a dog whining, that's my dog. That's Rascal. He's getting really old, so he's got some issues. But so you can see here, let me say hey to Rascal. You can see where I've got some pads down. He's having trouble with his bathroom stuff, so I've got to let him go. I mean, let everybody go. I gotta get him out. So anyway, like, share, subscribe, and yeah, if you want to help support me, the best way to do that's with my Etsy store, and that's King of Cats Crafts. So take care, be safe. I gotta get this dog out before he makes a mess. So